August 3rd. What have you got for us? Okay, really, really quiet in the overnight space. Okay, so we get the last aspect at 8:40 p.m. and then we don't get another one until 10:16. So this is the night for sleep, my friends. Okay, so at 10:16 we get a bit of a stress when it comes to like potentially secrets, or like feelings of guilt and shame that you've had because of your family space. A little bit of stress around that. So that's coming up because there is something that we need to look at within the childhood wound space that is impacting our ability to take action and impacting our ability to show up as honestly who we are in relationships. Okay, so it's like the feeling of trying to come to terms with like places where you've held guilt and shame for a while, and really understanding how that has been impacted by things you still believe when it comes to what your family taught you about yourself, right? And that doesn't mean like what they sat down and taught you. It means like the things more likely that where they didn't show up in the way that you needed them to, right? So something within that space or something within a relationship dynamic that you currently have that is still making you feel guilty or shameful or continuously misunderstanding you, either a mindset or a relationship needs to be let go. Okay, then around 11 o'clock we get some forward movement, right? So the moon in Scorpio, Mars in Virgo. Okay, the moon will be void at this aspect, and so we're like moving forward and we're being given this like extended period of time with the moon void to be able to really find a way to get the list written that needs to be done in order to move forward, right? Like what are the details that we didn't see because we were holding on to guilt and shame, or we were worried about being misunderstood? What are those details that we can now see, and how can we move forward, right? Then we will have a really frustrating aspect. Okay, so this is like if you need to be somewhere tomorrow night, just be aware that you might be running late if it's anywhere between like 5 and 7 p.m. Okay, because we have a moon opposition to Uranus, and Uranus is that chaos, that sort of sudden moment, right? And the moon is in Sagittarius and it's about travel. So this is like travel, but like they're having a battle of like where we're going almost. So it could be that you're running late. It could be that, you know, no one can agree on what needs to happen. It's very much an I know kind of energy. So it's like one of the energies doesn't want to like take anybody else into account. Okay. And that's why we get some chaos. Okay. So that'll be particularly loud for mutable placements. Okay. Virgo, Pisces, Sag, Gemini, as if we're not already getting it. Okay. So then around 7 o'clock, and then 7:54, some really nice aspects, right? Moon trine Saturn, moon trine Neptune. Now, this is because the Scorpio moon phase that we have been in has been really letting us burn some shit, right? Like emotions, feeling the emotions, letting them be felt and allowing them to like be felt until there's nothing left to be felt, okay? And then we get these aspects with the moon in Sag, which are like, let's fucking go. Let's look at where we started building, right? So the one around 7 o'clock is like where you started building that thing at the end of May. Let's start again, right? Like we've knocked down the blocks and now we're going to build it again. And then at 8 o'clock, we're sort of like doing that same thing, but with like a mentality, right? Like a mentality that kind of was stuck in your mind in relation to something kind of from your family or generational kind of lessons, right? Something that kind of held you back. So we're sort of back there as well. So at the end of March, we were sort of disconnected from that energy. And so now we sort of get this opportunity to look at that period of time again without that energy of being connected to those wounds. And we can sort of start dreaming of something else new, right? And we can do that because we're much closer to our authentic energy. We're much more aligned by this time, right? Hopefully. So at 8:45 p.m., we get the moon in Sag and Pluto in Aquarius retrograde, making a sextile aspect, right? So positive again. So this is the energy of like really seeing some kind of creative energy, some kind of creative moment, some kind of connection to a part of you that you haven't had a connection to before, as a way to move forward on a journey, right? As like you've learned something, so now we can go this way. Now that's going to involve needing to let go again of another piece of the childhood wound, right? Like, I know I say this a lot, but like Chiron is nearly finished in Aries, so this wound of identity is almost done. We'll move on to another wound then we'll move on to a wound of loss. That's a whole other video. Okay, so this wound of identity, we are letting bits of it go. And so because Chiron is in retrograde right now, childhood wound, we're revising the last few, you know, bits that we've done on this wound, like what's come up, what's triggered me, what have I worked on, and we're letting go of a piece by piece by piece. And so once we've kind of let go of whatever that piece is, we get this aspect at 11:55 p.m. where a relationship then needs kind of a compromise, right? Something needs to somewhat shift within that space, because it's like there's tension for something to be changed, but we don't quite understand what it is, but a decision will need to be made, potentially about the direction or the type of adventure that relationship is giving you. But yeah, something will need to, you know, be understood in order to move forward. All right, that's what I got for you. Stay weird.